Venus unites with Mars to remind us why beauty is pain and pain is pleasurable. All right, so on February 22nd, we've got Venus and Mars coming into a conjunction. Sizzle, sizzle. This is happening at 6 degrees, 57 minutes of Aquarius. This is one that a lot of people get excited about because a lot of people think sexy. Venus and Mars coming together. Yeah, and it could be. I mean, this definitely adds some spice to the love life for sure. Some things to also consider about Venus and Mars. This is a Venus-Mars cycle that's being renewed. So there's like a new beginning that's happening here. It's being seated in our Aquarius house. So that might be relevant to you. Make sure you take a look and see where Aquarius is, where this is happening. But some key takeaways from this configuration, because actually these are kind of like opposite planets because Venus is a planet that wants cohesion, harmony, let's all get along. And Mars is like, I want to fight. I want to fuck shit up. And so when they get together, it can be steamy if, opposites do attract. But there's also a great deal of friction happening here. So some things that we can think about. Mars is kind of our rebel planet. So what we need to do is we need to choose authenticity. We might be pushing each other's buttons. And maybe that's a turn on. Maybe that's creating some friction there in a good way. But it might not be. It might not feel great. Like I remember way back there was like a Venus Mars aspect and everyone was like looking forward to it and thinking it was going to be like this hot thing and like people were getting in fights. And it's because of this. Like Mars is kind of an antagonistic planet. So some things that we can do is we can be open to taking risks in love. This also inspires some risky behavior. This is often when we see a lot of like sex scandals and infidelities and things like that. Shout out to Patrick Watson and Nick Dagan-Best. They just did like an astrology live stream covering that theme if you want to know more. But yeah, like adding an element of courage and risk-taking, Mars, to the way that we pursue things that we love. So sometimes that does show up in a relationship context, but maybe this also has to do with like taking an impulsive action on making something that you've been wanting happen. Something that you've been holding off and saying like, no, I'm going to wait. And then Mars just says like, no, we're doing it. Now, this is also happening in the sign of Aquarius. So there's something collaborative here. There's something intellectually spicy happening here. I'm inspired by that building in LA that was abandoned mid-construction. And the graffiti artists all got together and tagged it up. And just, it feels very Venus, Mars, and Aquarius, even though this happened a little while ago. In Aquarius season. It just feels like some sort of collaborative effort, Venus adding the artistic component or the relational component, and Mars being like the punk rock rebel, let's draw attention to this kind of thing. These two planets are arriving in a square with Jupiter. Jupiter represents the upper class, Jupiter represents nobility, and so one thing I think of a lot with this is just like acts of resistance right now, especially with Venus representing money. So like money is a currency of resistance. We've been seeing that play out in the collective where people are just like, we vote with our dollars. We're going to boycott. We're not going to spend money on this day. I could see something like that kind of coming up. Also, the inflation problem is just so huge. I almost wonder if that's going to come up here with Mars could actually help us here. Mars being a planet that slashes, Mars being an act of resistance or demonstration against this crazy inflation that is forcing a lot of people out of their homes, unfortunately. Yeah, some things that kind of come up for me here is like the dining industry, the restaurant industry, groceries. I've been seeing like at the grocery store, a lot of prices are coming down. Like they're saying it's temporarily on sale, but I think it's because they're not selling stuff. I've been buying a lot of rotten produce because it sits on the shelves a lot longer, I think. I think a lot of people are just like saving where they can. So I think we could see something kind of coming up around there. I also think of like unconventional beauty with Mars and Venus together. So this theme of unconventional beauty, or the femme fatale archetype. And the other thing that makes me think about is like these Sephora teens. Something that we've been seeing a lot of is like these teens that go in and just like fuck shit up in Sephora. And so I wonder if there will be something like that that kind of comes up here. But above all, there's going to be people taking pleasure in challenging the social convention, people taking pleasure in challenging the social mores. Like, I just think about Venus trying to keep everything orderly and peaceful and in some sort of like cohesive style, and Mars coming in and saying, but why? Why should we do that? Why should we participate in that? Like, who says that that's beautiful, or who says that we have to? So I feel like there's going to be some kind of like, watch fashion, watch makeup, watch beauty stuff, because I think there's going to be some kind of upset there with Mars, as well as big things happening in relationships collectively. This might be a time where we see people leaving, especially earlier in March, when Venus and Mars come into a square with Uranus. So that is also going to be sort of this rebellious, independent, I want to break free. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be that anymore. I don't want to live by those standards anymore. So we're going to start to see that really bubble and percolate and coming into full expression here in early March. We also have a full moon that's going to kind of bring this into fullness around, on February 24th. So yeah, watch for those themes, and in your life, just have the sense of courage when it comes to doing what's in your heart. Again, right now, the nodes are in Aries and Libra. These two planets rule those nodes. So it's about finding a way to actually achieve more peace in your life by confronting something, by confronting the source of disharmony and confronting it head on. Can you actually have more harmony in your life? So think about those Aries Libra themes that we've been talking a lot about as we go into this Venus-Mars conjunction, because there might be something that clicks that helps kind of mediate those two sides of the spectrum for us. And yeah, also resist the system under this aspect. And could there be some sort of collaborative effort of resistance that you can partake in, whether that's personal or on a collective level? All right, everyone, that was your astrology shot of the day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. Thanks so much for tuning in with me today. For more astrology in your world, you can connect with me on all platforms at Astro Catherine. You can also study astrology with me. The Foundations of Astrology course is an 11-week mentorship. It begins on January 25th. You can visit my website for more details, where you can also book your year ahead astrology reading with me, where we'll get into your personal natal chart, transits, progressions, profections, and the solar return. I look forward to connecting with you. Till next time. Bye.